AEW just announced their newest show, Saturday Collision, and CM Punk might not be returning to All Elite Wrestling. Maybe. I'm Omer Q for Real Take Wrestling, and I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about this AEW Collision news, as well as some problems that may have arisen during talks of CM Punk's return. Before we get into any of that, though, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. All right, let's start first and foremost with what happened. So today at the Warner Upfront presentation, they announced their newest slate of programming. And as expected, one of those programs that they announced was AEW Saturday Collision, which Tony Khan kind of preluded last week on AEW Dynamite, said there was going to be a big announcement on TNT, which, by the way, as of this recording, that announcement has not happened. I assume that it has something to do with a basketball game that just happens to be on TNT, I believe. So we will see what happens there. Regardless, I think that, this was expected. We knew that there was going to be this new show, 2 hours, live, 8 p.m. Eastern, every single week is a big, big bet that they're making. Like, Tony Khan and AEW have really said, like, hey, look, we are going to be the primetime destination for that sports audience that usually tunes into college football. Maybe they're trying to fill that void. Maybe that's what they're trying to do. There is an audience for big, almost sporting type fight events. WWE has put on Saturday pay-per-views. AEW used to put on a lot more Saturday pay-per-views. They've gone away from that recently. But I think that, having your TV program live Saturday, making it on a day or a night, I should say, where I think, people might be looking for something to do. Maybe this is what gets played on in bars and sports bars instead of college football. You never know, especially in the down period of the summer months in sports. You never know, but maybe that's what they're going for. One thing I can tell you for damn sure, since it was in this press release, is that AEW is really going all in and leaning in on a potential brand split. So here's the news about this brand split. Fightful Select reported earlier today that AEW was actually thinking about having a more stricter and harder brand split than was originally reported. It's now reported that, they are going to have very distinct rosters, and it looks like people are going to be exclusive to rosters outside of champions. The names that we know that were announced in this press release and that were actually in the title of this press release, which is crazy: Thunder Rosa, Miro, Samoa Joe, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Andrade El Idolo, all announced in literally the title of this press release right here. And I assume that they are going to be their headline acts for Saturday Collision. Now, that's a great thing. A lot of these people have been people who have not been highlighted at all in recent months, almost a year in Miro's sake. Andrade El Idolo has not been seen on AEW TV for a very long time as well. Thunder Rosa has been dealing with an injury. But I think that this is definitely a good opportunity for them to not only highlight more talent with more time on the roster or more time on television, but also do something that they have been really unable to do with only 2 hours of TV every week, and that is tell stories with more of their wrestlers. As great as AEW has been at telling, stories like the Hangman Page story and the Kenny Omega stuff that they're telling now with Don Callis, I think is interesting, especially with the Blackpool Combat Club. But outside of that, they've really struggled, and it just feels like these stories drag on and on and on with little progression week in, week out. Hopefully with a stricter brand split, hopefully with these headliners, as they're calling them, I think that is going to change things, and that's going to fix things a little bit more, and you're going to be able to have, I should say, Miro go into a feud with, TNT champion, Wardlow, or something like that. There's a lot you could do, and I would think that The International Championship is going to be exclusive to Dynamite. I would also think that the TNT Championship, since AEW Collision is going to be premiering on TNT, I would think the TNT Championship is going to be exclusive to Collision. And then you would have the world champions, all of them, the trios, women's, men's, and tag team champions. They would all kind of be floating brand to brand, depending on where they're needed in that moment, right? And I think that's a great way to do it. Personally, I don't want to see AEW bring in, we're going to have 2 sets of championships. We're going to have 3 sets of trios champions. No. We're fine with one for now. If the time comes where that is needed, then I think you can. But AEW has a lot of belts. They have a lot of belts. I think it's fine. Like, we can stick with these belts for now. If we need to reassess down the line, I think Tony Khan is more than willing to do that. But for right now, they're good. And again, this is great for all of these people who have been named. Someone like Miro, who was on the run of his career in 2021, run of his career as God's favorite champion, doing some of the best TV promos I've ever seen him do, the best in my opinion. And it just fizzled out, and I don't think you'll see that. I love the fact that I love the way they brought him and Thunder Rosa back too. I thought it was great. Another thing here, and this is where I'm going to get into CM Punk news. One thing that did not happen was CM Punk be announced alongside this announcement that AEW Collision was going to be a thing starting next month. It looks like, according to PW Insider, that there have been some hurdles in this CM Punk stuff, and there have been some, I don't even know how else to describe it other than hurdles. Look, it looks like it's coming down to Ace Steel, of all things. CM Punk, who it was reported had these conversations with Jericho, was willing to have these conversations with Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, the Elite. It looks like the biggest hang-up right now on CM Punk being announced, according to this PW Insider report, is Ace Steel's status with the company. It looks like CM Punk wants to bring Ace Steel back into the fold, maybe make him a producer on Saturday Collision. Again, rumor, innuendo, report, whatever you want to call it. There's that side to it. And then I think there's the other side, which is that maybe you just save CM Punk for the show, the premiere show. Maybe you really just do, a First Dance Part 2 with the debut episode of AEW Collision. And I'm not against that. However, the one drawback that obviously has is you're just the biggest drawback in my eyes is you would like to have made AEW Collision, which again is kind of it's kind of hurt by the fact that it's on Saturday. Don't get me wrong. Personally, for me, I like it because I like to sit down and watch sports on Saturdays. So for me, it's good. But there are a lot of people who don't want to, and a lot of people who go out. That's like one of the biggest things about Friday nights at 10 p.m. why Rampage hasn't done good. Like, people are doing stuff on Fridays. People are tired, so or they're partying usually. But it's I don't know. Like you would think that you would want to try to get as many ratings as possible, try to hold as much of an audience as you possibly could. We'll see if that actually ends up happening. There's still plenty of time. We have literally a month before any of this is announced. But it was a bit of a surprise to me that CM Punk was not announced. Another thing that kind of surprised me, moving on from CM Punk quickly, was there wasn't really an announcement on a TV deal. And maybe that is something that Tony Khan is waiting to announce tonight. As of this recording, he has obviously not done so. But there are reports and rumors that AEW's deal was going to be, $1 billion or right around that number. I believe that was a message board report or rumor, whatever you want to call it, on the Wrestling Observer message board. PW Insider, look at Mike Johnson here doing the Lord's work. So PWInsider.com says, and I quote, there had been rampant speculation online about a new deal between the two sides, being Warner Brothers Discovery and All Elite Wrestling, about a new deal between two sides being worth as high as $1.5 billion. But beyond speculation, there had not been any inkling from either AEW or Warner Brothers that new rights agreement had been locked in. Okay. Again, this is not a report. The PW Insider's not confirming this. It is it's speculation, but it really does fit a lot of what we heard. And it kind of contradicts a little bit of PW Insider's earlier report where they said, I was like 200, or it's actually even in line with that because like $275 million annually, I believe, was the report from PW Insider, which again, that fits everything we've been hearing, like a total value of right around $1 billion over 5 years or 4 years. I think that is, as long as that's the number, that is epic. Even if it's like 800 million, I think I said in a previous video, it's still absolutely big time, and it makes an immediate impact as AEW being taken seriously as a wrestling juggernaut. And don't get me wrong, they're not WWE. They are not WWE. They're likely never gonna be as big as WWE. But that shouldn't be the goal. The goal should be to go and put on the biggest and best wrestling show that you possibly can. And make money for the talent, make money for the company, all that stuff, right? That's the goal. I think AEW has gone about it in the right way in that respect. Because they are, like, look at this. You don't get hundreds of millions of dollars in cash infused in you by a primetime major television partner like this. If you're just, this is like, what does Eric Bischoff say? Eric Bischoff literally says that Tony Khan, this is like his fun money he's spending on AEW. Like, that has got to be like, for Eric Bischoff, right? Someone who likes to be taken seriously in the professional wrestling media space. For him to say that is absolutely ludicrous. Like, he's got a bit. He's got a podcast he wants to sell. That's fine. I respect the hell out of what Eric Bischoff did in the 90s. I respect the hell out of what Eric Bischoff was able to accomplish with WCW Nitro initially. But it is just so disingenuous to say that. Like, it's one thing, right? If you want to compare it, if you want to compare everything it does to WWE and how big it is and all that stuff, then yeah, you're going to set yourself up to be disappointed. But that was never the intention. Never the intention. And to claim that was the intention is just a bad faith argument, if you ask me. So, sorry, Uncle Eric. Whatever. Anyway, going back to this, it's go check out my video, by the way, I did about how AEW is about to change everything forever. It's a video right before this. I outlined what this potential deal means and how it's going to impact wrestling and what it means in the grand scheme of things. I know a lot of you guys liked it, so please go check it out. And if you've even already watched it, please go back and hit that like button on that video. I really am proud of what I did there, and I'm looking forward to doing more content like that. Last thing that I will say here, just my closing thoughts about this. There's a lot yet to come, and by the time you watch this video could be outdated, given AEW Dynamite is tonight. But I think that there is a lot that is going to happen between now and June 17th. And if you are a fan of professional wrestling, if you're a fan of WWE, AEW, whatever, it's an exciting time. Because one thing we do know for damn sure, even if you don't like AEW, when AEW does well, it pushes WWE to do better. And if that's, like your baseline, if that's it, if that's like your thing, then I think you should be excited because now Hunter is going to want to put on a better show. And now Vince might want to try to put on a better show as well. So we will see. Guys, thank you so much for listening to me just talk about wrestling for like the past 14 minutes or however long this has been. I really appreciate it. If you haven't already done so, do me a big time favor. Hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. Let me know what you guys think about this deal. Let me know what you guys think about this CM Punk story with Ace Steel and what's going on here and all that stuff. Until next time, be happy, be healthy, and as always, keep it real.